If you would like a more detailed version of the events that led up to this video, I urge you to watch my previous documentary diving into the tragic murder of rapper Lil Marlo, the 4L versus 3L beef, and how the Atlanta drill scene emerged from it. Thank you all for watching, and always, I hope you enjoy.
Why the fuck this shit so dead, bro? What the fuck is a YC, bro? I blow this bitch up right now.
Nigga, fuck YC.
All y'all nigga bitches, y'all YC niggas. Nigga, fuck TG5. All y'all nigga bitches. Everybody bitches. Oh, we just got that boy ass.
But Cal running. Look at that boy.
Nigga, y'all been dreaming in my eye, little bro.
Y'all seen the way out here? No. Hell, the way.
No, bitch, your ass, your mama said hers. Fuck TG5. You almost some 5L family and shit.
2 young boys have been shot and killed.
I can be Michael Jackson. I'm saying,
Throw the fool by a fur young nigga do it. Bang it!
15-year-old Diamond Johnson was shot to death.
Boy, gotta kill you. My baby, nigga.
They say that's Cameron, that's our opposition. That's what shots rang out.
No, catch us out the way, but no. Wait, fuck YC, fuck that out. Wait, who not 4L? Nigga, say that.
Shot and later died at the hospital. Another deadly shooting.
stop speaking on red, bro. Y'all is a bitch. Bro, not stand that shit, man. Yo, I want to be on that gay shit, little bro.
Someone shot and killed a man in a single vehicle wreck.
Shot and left for dead in a stairwell.
Was shot and killed. Was shot and killed.
Killed.
Shot.
Get ready to die. Oh, damn. Whoa. With that box, yeah, this on 5, I got a book. Hold on.
In the beginning of 2022, the deadly politics behind Marlo's murder would inevitably spark a drill scene in Atlanta. Lil Marlo, also known as Rude, was a top-ranking member of the PFK gang, also known as 3L. A set that was originally a branch of the Goodfellas mob gang, arguably the deadliest crew in the city. During his rise in the rap scene, it was alleged he was using his power, notoriety, and money to have countless victims cold-heartedly murdered, ranging from civilians to flat-out bosses, capos of his own crew. Nonetheless, the city would ignite on fire when Marlo's self-acclaimed killers and Marlo's homeboys would begin going back and forth over gnarly diss tracks, bringing the drill wave being popularized in other big cities to the Black Mecca itself. One of Rude's alleged and self-proclaimed killers would be a 4L rapper known as Baby Drill, who garnered a feared reputation of being one of the crew's biggest killers. Taking this newly gained persona and notoriety of not only being one of the biggest steppers in the city, but also the killer of perhaps the biggest op in the city. However, after Baby Drill's breakout, full-fledged bringing the drill sound to Atlanta, many other talented rappers from the most dangerous areas of the city, plagued with violence, the teens, borderline children who have to live through the senseless wars brainwashed by the deadly politics behind Marlo's murder, would pick up a mic of their own and take this wave being popularized in the city and push it to new limits. The aftermath of Lil Marlo's death. This is their story.
There is a search for a solution to a dangerous trend, a story we've been tracking for months. There's significant rises in crime, violent crime specifically across Atlanta. The latest numbers show this year murder is up 80%, aggravated assault up 47%, and auto theft, which includes carjackings, up 47%.
Stopping crime on Atlanta's west side. It was the center of a town hall meeting tonight.
We don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to hear gunshots.
Unless I'm with somebody, I don't even go out on my door after dark.
Over the last month, we've covered some of the incidents, including a shooting that left a toddler injured at an apartment on Fairburn Road, and this daycare burglary caught on camera on Myrtle Drive. We also spoke with the school crossing guard who says a group pushed and robbed her of her car while she worked near F.L. Stanton Elementary School. These residents say they're fed up with crime in some neighborhoods on Atlanta's west side.
Atlanta, one of the fastest growing cities of the South, sometimes being referred to as Black Hollywood for its undeniable influence in multiple aspects of the music scene, revolving black wealth including the city's booming music scene, nightlife, and entrepreneurship. And while most people know Atlanta for the very surface level identity, it's become known for including the city's high fashion, hustlers, and players. A lot of others are very oblivious to the influx of violence recently perpetrated in the streets of the city. And no other area of the city seems to capture that aspect except Atlanta's very own West Side, which has also recently become to be known as the Wicked West, a moniker dubbing the city's Zone 1 and Zone 4 areas, the first and fourth out of 6 zones to make up the Atlanta PD's patrol routes. As stated initially in my previous video, the west side of Atlanta was mostly the distribution spot of many drugs, gangs, and wars, housing arguably some of the most dangerous projects in the country before Atlanta was selected for the Centennial Olympics in 1996, causing the public housing authorities to knock down almost all of the city's projects. Interestingly, the west side still housing some of those old and infamous public housings, monuments, territories for the deadliest crews in the city to come. The history of violence on the west side, however, dates all the way back to the 80s, as I also mentioned in my previous video. A gang of big-time drug traffickers known as the Miami Boys moved from southern Florida to northern cities to set up shop and avoid law. Atlanta being one of those cities, it was also arguably the catalyst that perpetuated crime in the city into what it is today, with many drugs, gangs, and territories being formed within these sprawling projects all over the city. And one of the major figures to have paved the way for the politics on the west side would be infamous rapper Shawty Lo, who had the Bowen Homes projects in a chokehold with his influence with not only his ties to the music industry, but the drug trafficking operations bringing in $250,000 a day. Lo being compared to Nino Brown from the 1991 thriller New Jack City, who was a kingpin running a multi-million-dollar drug empire.
See, boy, I own $250,000 a day of trap.
My God.
Like that shit make money.
This when niggas was dying for playing with the wrong nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Lo, the shortest nigga, got older niggas calling him Colonel.
Yeah.
You feel me? When Master P came out with About It and I'm the Colonel of the motherfucking tank.
Yeah.
Lo had niggas way older than him calling him Colonel. Niggas was busting nigga. Lo was busting nigga, another nigga take the charge. This shit was like a real movie, bro. I seen Lo in a one-on-one shootout shooting nigga. It's him and this nigga. And that thing know the nigga like this running up the street. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really need a movie. It was, and D4L stood for down for low.
Yeah.
It went down for life at first. It was down for low.
Right.
You feel me? Them boys went playing. Like, shout out to D4L.
Shout out to D4L, man.
Yes, they really need a movie, bro.
But you see, Lo wasn't the only rapper from the Zone 1 and Bankhead areas of the city who'd ultimately blow up both musically and while also dealing heavy dog food around the hood. Enter the 2010s. Atlanta, a shell of itself from the deadliest projects in the country, rapidly being gentrified with billion-dollar investments. An upcoming figure on Atlanta's west side, Rollo, growing up in two of Bankhead's most drug-infested areas. English Avenue and Vine City would make a presence in the rap scene in early 2015. And just like Shawty Lo, Rollo would run a drug trafficking operation in one of Bankhead's most notable hoods. Federal agents claiming he's responsible for smuggling a little less than $2 million worth of marijuana from California to Georgia. See, being one of the biggest dope boys to come out the entire city, of course Rollo would come to form his own organized crew, Famgoon, widely known as Famerica, that started at the beginning of Rollo's career. See, the areas Rollo and his Famgoon crew would grow up in and claim their territory. English Avenue and Vine City also has a dark history regarding the city's violence and drug infestations. English Avenue and Vine City, Also known as The Bluff, is one of the oldest hoods on the west side and arguably the most popular hood in the entire city, even though no big-name rappers have come from the area. The Bluff, which stands for Better Leave You Fucking Fool, not so friendly, huh, is a concrete jungle of abandoned houses and traps, widely being known as the epicenter of Atlanta's drug trade. The area becoming so known to not only natives, but even out-of-towners, after the hood was the location for a mini-documentary film called Snow on the Bluff, starring a gangster, actually from the hood, Curtis Snow, who would ironically be arrested in 2016 after having a standoff with officers in an Atlanta funeral home.
You assholes watch too many movies. Like, oh, we're gonna get carjacked in the hood, yo. They're probably just gonna think you're hot, and like, maybe they'll give us stuff for free.
This dude's coming over.
He's kind of looking at us, right? What's going on?
I see it in your face. I got the good stuff.
All right, now.
Cocaine, pills, whatever you want.
That's pretty much
You got
exactly what I want.
You got Opps? Okay, that camera cool, ain't that y'all ain't no goddamn police.
No, we're not police, man.
We can do it quick, right? Like,
All right, get in. Hurry up.
Yeah, you got enough for everybody tonight?
Yeah, well, I definitely want, how many rolls do you want, dude?
Well, I want at least 3 for myself.
All right,
well, let's get 10 rolls and the 2 8 balls. 10 rolls. Yeah.
10 rolls, 10 balls. I can try.
Yeah, try this.
The Bluff becoming so known for its drugs, gangs, and violence predating decades that T.I. would open a hip-hop resort known as the Trap Museum right in the heart of the Bluff. You see, one of the main streets to make up the Bluff, connecting both English Avenue and Vine City, would be Joseph E. Lowery Boulevard, which used to be infamously known as Ashby Street before it was renamed, in an attempt to begin gentrifying the area to honor the civil rights leader, Reverend Joseph E. Lowery. You would also come to find out that a lot of the big rappers in the city, rather its young thug hailing from the city's treacherous south side in Zone 3's Cleveland Avenue, or the notorious Henchman Gang or 5L all the way on the east side in Zone 6. A lot of Atlanta's street politics, relations, and ties actually stems from the west side itself. And more casuals would rather find that out when Atlanta PD claimed earlier of this year that 2 13-year-old children, Jackety Davis and Layman Freeman, were killed in a gang-retaliated shootout on July 2nd of 2024 after police claimed a music video Lil Baby shot in his Opps hood led the Opps to spin back on Baby's 4PF crew, killing innocent kids while targeting their rivals. That very same video shoot ironically being shot up.
What's it? Tim, you okay?
Oh! Who in this car right here? Who in this car?
Bro, y'all straight, y'all straight.
However, in the beginning of 2022, a little after DB Omerta and Baby Drill would start the Atlanta drill scene in the city after Marlo's death, one of those young affiliates with Rollo's Famgoon crew would pick up a microphone, riding this new wave being popularized in the city, and arguably father all these fake-throwed young niggas in the city. I'm of course talking about Anti the Menace.
My mama, y'all did not scare me. Y'all fucking gotta kill me. My baby, nigga. I ain't like no hoe. It's my hoe. I been trying to hoe out. Mama. On my baby, nigga. On beat. I'm dirty bitch like, come on. Oh, my mama, this hoe losing weight. Let me show y'all. Ever since you left, bitch, you been losing weight. What the hell? You're taking a hair run? No time.
Being a character within himself, going viral in the city multiple times for seemingly throwing tantrums, such as the time he went viral on TikTok for threatening fast food employees and having people wonder why the fuck was this nigga so angry all the time, would all be pivotal controversy talks that would essentially shape Anti's image and help him rise as a rapper, and rather for which it was a character to stir more controversy regarding his name, or bro was really just flat out that slow. Anti would also implement that anger into his music, taking the distorted 808s popularized in the Atlanta drill sound Baby Drill started, and twisted it with the dark, heavy-hitting street piano melodies, sometimes samples that was a staple on the city's west already due to rappers like Lil Baby or Marlo's hold on the west side's music. Essentially making a subgenre of the Atlanta drill sound which would come to be known as throwed music, or throwed-off music, which would be the wave, the staple of mostly all the young niggas coming up in the early Atlanta drill scene. But however, it is difficult to really pinpoint who actually first began hopping on these type of beats and started using this infamous flow. melodic auto-tune while spitting demonic lyrics about gang-banging and murdering people. Because the same time Anti blew up with his hit Murder Bitch, that would put him on the map and have the entire area mimicking his style and mannerisms, Anti was actually on the come-up with his homeboys, all experimenting with this new sound, pioneering the come-up for their broader crew. But rather DB Omerta or Baby Drill started the ATL drill wave or not, it would have probably and inevitably already been started. Because the year prior in 2021, most of these crews would officially form naturally, with the death of a beloved 14-year-old becoming the pivotal factor of most of these young crews' origins. I'm of course talking about the infamous murder of Baby K. Now the origins behind Anti's 952 crew, featuring the likes of Anti, RaqBaby, and Lil Big, are a bit complex when you take into consideration the many crews, sets, and renegade members making up the crew. You see, 952 first began as a label created by arguably the mastermind behind the city's young nigga splurge, Lil Big, who would use all the money and notoriety he acquired in the streets to essentially start multiple LLCs, record labels, and put on a bunch of his homeboys and affiliates he was close with, or close with Baby K, seeing the potential behind multiple artists and using his money to push them. Sometimes handpicking the beats, running the pages, handling the marketing, booking studio sessions and shows. He clearly had a vision. It was never initially a gang, but the deadly gang politics they would hop in regarding Baby K's death and their affiliates' beefs would catch the attention of the APD, who began labeling them a gang.
And I know you're an artist yourself, and you know you manage other artists. How do you balance that?
I don't really.
You know,
being real with you, I'm fucked up. Shit, when I get in one mode, I'm in that mode. I really don't rap until I got to. My partners be on my ass because they, you know what I'm saying? They be like, "Your shit hard," you know what I'm saying? But I enjoy the aspect of the management side only because I can see it and critique it better. I can't really critique my own shit like that. But I love music regardless. With the management and the artist thing, it was more so for me as in business. I'm a business-minded person, you know what I'm saying? And I always knew like my shit is called Forever Entertainment. And the whole point of that name, like forever, I want to live and last forever, like eternally, even when I'm gone. And it's easier for me to do that with a label than being an artist. Because with a label, you can have 1,000 artists. With them 1,000 artists, they can have one hit a piece, that's 1,000 hits. But it's way harder for you to have 1,000 hits by yourself. You know what I'm saying? I still would be a part of all those hits.
Now being able to sign some of the most active and careless young niggas in the city is no easy feat, especially if you aren't as big a name like Young Thug or 21 Savage. However, it may come to a shock to many casual fans to find out that Lil Big was actually the older blood brother of Caden, which would make sense in the long run as he appears to seemingly be the leader of the K4K movement. See, Big actually hails from Campbellton Road in Zone 4, an area now known for being territory of 952's Opps Casket gang, but I'll get into that later. However, the point I'm trying to make is that even though Big grew up on Campbellton with his brother Caden or Baby K, they would become known around the entire West Side, becoming affiliated with several of the biggest crews all over the West in Zone 1, Zone 4, and the western half of Zone 3.
Big man, 43952, I'm in that bitch.
Hell yeah, for the people that don't know where you from.
Shit, I'm from Atlanta, man. Campbellton Road, West Side, Zone 4, SWATs, whatever you want to call it.
She said the real Atlanta.
Yeah, the real Atlanta. Nah, I ain't gonna say that though, cause shit, I fuck with everybody in Atlanta, so I ain't gonna say that. Atlanta is Atlanta, you know what I'm saying?
So how you feel?
That would probably be how he met Auntie, who moved to Mosley Park, also known as 1700 Jurassic Park, shortly after meeting another notable 952 member RaqBaby, after they both had stayed in Cobb County for a bit before moving to Zone 1. Rack having to have moved to Lawton Street, just a few blocks next over to it.
How'd you meet him? Anti the Menace. Yeah.
I meet him?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Like, we really met. Like, I been knew who he was.
You feel me? Like, I been knew who he was when I was young.
He's like the face of the new generation in Atlanta.
Yeah, he hard, he taking over and shit.
But you just met him on some regular shit?
Nah, I used to stay in the same neighborhood as him.
This is Zone 1?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, I'm keeping on. This was out in Cobb County when I was like 11.
Alright, for sure. So y'all locked in before? Yeah, moved or whatever.
We went locked in. Like I used to see him in the apartments. We used to see him chopped up, and then go about our day. Cause that's back when I was a regular kid. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then I guess we just met like a couple years later. Like a few years go by, I ain't seen him for a long time. Feel me? When I was going to school, I was going to middle school because he had disappeared. I ain't seen him for a long time. Then I had started going to school on the west side, Durk, in like 2019, 2020. Then from there, I started going to school like 2 years later. He was rapping and shit. And then I guess they had wanted to like do a song with me. Like, cause I was rapping on Instagram and shit too, and they was saying it.
Yeah.
So I guess they wanted to do a song with me, and then we did it. You feel me? It went up.
In fact, there's even some throwback videos out there of Ante when he first began rapping and gaining a buzz amongst the area, before 952, before meeting RAC, and before the fame, proudly repping his hood 1700 Jurassic Park.
Niggas step on who, niggas step on you. I run with some bloods, ain't no gangster disciple. Ain't talking jack boy, but don't get wet, boy. You know the anti, he stay with some snipers. GF big it for, I'm trying to fill him up. I be with niggas who shoot up the funeral.
Ante and RAC would eventually hop off the porch early in their lives, where they would have gotten affiliated with Rollo's notorious Famgoon crew, as Famgoon members can be actively seen in the 952 circle, which began to make more sense when casuals found out that Rollo would bail Ante out of jail in the beginning of 2024. Not much is really known about the early lives of the biggest rappers to have come out the 952 crew, but we would probably get an idea with RAC, who's originally from Chicago, hailing from the deadly M Block. RAC would interestingly also make a brief cameo in one of Snoop Dogg and Nipsey Hussle's videos as a toddler, which was interestingly wiped from YouTube, as well as RAC's interview with No Jumper of him mentioning it, which suspiciously raises questions about RAC has come up, leaving the question if he's an industry plant. But you can tell he grinded for what he had and used to be dirty as hell. Anyways, Big would eventually get tied in with a set from Zone 1's Simpson Road known as SIMPSET, or Extortion Crew. A set of sex, money, murder bloods, and arguably the original clique to spread Bankhead's blood gang influence throughout the area to the young niggas. Now Baby K was only 14 years old, but had already gained a loved and respected reputation around the area, due to his affiliations and ties all over the West, some of his family even being members of the most notorious sets in the city. And for those who knew Caden, they also knew that he was all about his bag. A leader, not a follower, as he reportedly didn't gang bang even though the areas he grew up in were riddled with gang violence, and his friends being some of the most dangerous young niggas from that side.
They getting the rats. Stay positive, stay humble, man. Y'all stop doing all that arguing, man. To just get a regular shirt, man. Don't even get into all that, man.
But that would all seemingly change on the night of July 3rd of 2021, a day before the 4th of July. Caden would be attending a party with his homeboys and affiliates on the 600 block of McAfee Street. Apparently, multiple youths affiliated with some of the most notorious crews in the city were there, with reports claiming nearly 50 teens were present at the party. One of those young crews at the party would be the young affiliates from Lucci's YFN crew. For if you live under a rock are a set of Inglewood family bloods, or 93 IFG that formed under the Atlanta Blood Gang in Zone 3's Summer Hill, or simply known as The Hill. YFN has become one of the most infamous crews in the city for their blood-fueled rivalry between Young Thug's YSL, a case that had both rappers fighting for their lives over an impending RICO after Thug's YSL crew murdered YFN's Big Nut. But recently, the younger generation hailing from the YFN crew seemingly made their own clique under YFN known as 127 Mafia, which they rep both to the fullest. But anyways, at that party, Caden probably would have never expected what looked like a good time to be his last, considering he was also deep at the party with his closest friends and affiliates, such as the 952 crew and other notable sets he was tied in with, that would start a movement after his death. And when you take into consideration the many gangs and cliques that were there, mixed with the beginning of Atlanta's drill wave that had spiked violence in the city, it is honestly no surprise how an event such as this one ended, and whether Baby K was gangbanging or not, he would indeed choose his side when apparently around 10 p.m. that night, a brawl broke out between Baby K's affiliates and the 127 Mafia or YFN members. When Caden jumped in the fight, multiple teens from 127 would pull their weapons and open fire at Caden and his affiliates, striking Caden and grazing two other teens around the ages of 14 and 15.
You niggas gonna be bitches forever.
Let's do it, man.
When police quickly arrived at the scene, they would initially find Caden on the ground with everyone running away when the police approached. Caden was hit in the chest, quickly transported to a nearby hospital where he would later tragically succumb to his injuries.
On the 4th of July weekend, July the 3rd, there was a shooting that took place on McAfee Street, resulting in the death of Caden Barlow Gardner, a young 14-year-old male. During the course of being at this location, there was a fight to have taken place that ended in fatal gunshots in which he lost his life. I'm asking for the public if they could actually take the opportunity to review their presence on the 3rd of July and account for anybody that may have been in the area that witnessed anything that could bring light and bring forth any further information regarding this investigation, to please reach out to the Atlanta Police Homicide Unit.
Yeah, Sean, good afternoon. Atlanta police telling us there were at least 50 teenagers in this area at the time of that shooting on Saturday night. A 14-year-old shot and killed, 2 others injured. You can see here tonight that there is a memorial for that 14-year-old teenage boy with flowers and teddy bears.
It was just like a stampede of kids out here, and they was just fighting, and the next thing I know, I heard shot.
A small memorial sits on the sidewalk of McAfee Street after a deadly weekend shooting of a teenager. People living in this Northwest Atlanta neighborhood say it all happened so fast. According to police, there were dozens of teens in the area.
Most of them arrived on scooters in the 400 block of McAfee. During this melee, there were several juveniles fighting. Somehow there was some type of gunfire that erupted, striking 3 victims.
A 14-year-old boy was shot and killed, 2 other teens recovering from gunshot wounds. Neighbors who witnessed it did not want to be identified.
I called the police like 5 times when I seen it. So, I don't know, it just happened so quick.
Police say a 17-year-old boy was detained with 2 firearms. Investigators have yet to release any additional information about who shot the 3 teens. Some residents told us it isn't uncommon to hear shooting in this area, while others say this was a complete shock.
I went back in the house when I heard the shots. And then when I came out on the balcony, I seen the baby over there laid out. I got a 13-year-old son, so that could have been him, could have been me, anybody.
And you can see some of the friends of that 14-year-old teenage boy are here tonight to pay their respects. And Atlanta police are asking anyone with any information or video from the fight or the shooting or anyone who knows what happened to call investigators.
The days following Caden's tragic murder, the APD were initially stumped on who could have been the main shooter in the incident, after they had already detained and captured 17 and 16-year-old suspects who were believed to have guns. However, they believed the person who pulled the trigger could be seen on surveillance riding a scooter. And nearly 5 months later, 19-year-old Kentavious Jeffries was arrested for Caden's death. The entire West Side was absolutely heartbroken. To most, Baby K was their beloved brother, and to the older generations, he was like their little brother. You could really feel and see the impact he had on the entire area, even if you weren't from the West Side or even the city. Most of Caden's friends and family would take to social media to share their condolences. Baby K's own mother still keeping her son's name alive and being strong through this tragic period of her life. But however, Caden's death seemed to hit no one the hardest but his very own brother. See, upon receiving the news of Caden's passing that very night, Lil Big would take to Instagram to share his thoughts in a heart-wrenching video shared to his story.
Y'all gonna pay for this shit. Today. From this day forward, I'm pressing the gas. Everything I got going to this shit. Everything I got going to this shit.
K4K is formed, which can mean one either create for Caden or simply kill for Caden. Baby K's death was a random, senseless act of gun violence to ordinary civilians and his friends and family not in the mix. But for those who was, they knew that Caden's death was a result of gang violence. And the many gangs, crews and affiliates closest to Baby K, Lil Big, and 952 would all use this tragedy, the loss of their brother, as motivation to go harder in every aspect. Big was already a buzzing rapper in his area and would fondly release the snippet of his music video featuring 952 members and Caden as a homage. But in the streets, the gangsters would pay homage to Caden in other ways rather than music, such as the SIMPSET gang temporarily changing their crew name to BKG or Baby K Gang. All of these crews and affiliates jumping on this new movement, the K4K movement being the early stages of what we all would come to know as the 4-3 gang, or simply Forever, not knowing that they all would perhaps become affiliated with and known as the most hated alliance in the city. It is the beginning of Atlanta's gnarly drill scene stemming from Marlo's murder, and the most dangerous gangs and cliques making up the West Side has just lost their little brother to petty gun violence. As I stated initially, 14-year-old Caden Barlow Gardner, better known to friends and family as Baby K, was well known and loved around the city's West Side, his friends and family being some of the most notorious gangsters in the area. As of today, in 2026 however, you'd probably see a lot of these cliques I'm referring to, making up the Forever crew, beefing and going back and forth, but being arguably the creators of the young nigga splurge in Atlanta.
Mama, y'all need to come through the beat, let us switch one time, then come through the beat, I'm out the beat right now, twin. Y'all nigga not spinning, bro, with a 4, that's not spinning. You wait for it to come outside.
Their story and how it shaped the city's drill scene is a story that needs to be told, because before everything would eventually fall apart for these crews, they were united strongly, or clicked together under the 4-3 or 4-vo alliance, as I mentioned earlier, as being a collective of the most dangerous cliques and gangs on Atlanta's West Side. You see, what most people don't know is that the term 4-3 is in actuality a reference to the infamous Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, also known as 4300 Block, a long street that begins from downtown Atlanta and the Bluff as it stretches all the way down through other hoods like Simpson Road, territory of SIMPSET or BKG, 1700 Jurassic Park and Lawton Street, which is home to certain 9-5-2 members, 4300 Block, or MLK, also stretching all the way down to Adamsville, reaching other clicked hoods like Allen Temple or the Temp, the hood of Lil Marlo's PFK crew under the 3L Alliance. Interestingly enough, the AP being nearby, being YC's hood, which would probably go on to be the most infamous clique in the 4-3 Alliance for the wrongest reasons. You see, even though Baby K's older brother Lil Big grew up on Campbellton Road in the Swats, he would eventually hop off the porch early and get tied in with notorious sets in Zone 1, like the 9 Trays or Billies on Simpson Road. That would explain why the SIMPSET crew would eventually change their name to Baby K Gang in homage to Caden. You see, during Atlanta's blood wave that took over the city in the 2010s, most of the West Side was blood territory or a red zone for the 9 Trays or Billies, one of the many sets under the East Coast blood gang umbrella UBN, or the United Blood Nation, that originated in New York and gradually made way to other states on the East. And unlike LA, where the Bloods would originate, the East Coast sets would work differently. As in Atlanta, it is common you'd find different blood sets like Sex Money Murder, Billies, or even Gangster Killer Bloods in the same clique. I'm telling you this to understand Atlanta's blood politics as the UBN has gradually took over the city and shaped the city's petty violence into what it is today. And due to these sets basically having no order, it is common to see them beefing with one another too, as opposed to clicking up together. And from this new blood-dominated Atlanta post-2020, that's where we really begin seeing the modern traditions of everyone and they grandma claiming 5 or banging for Pete.
Man, only in Atlanta, man. Only in the fucking Atlanta, man.
Anyways, besides his Famgoon affiliates and the Billies on Simpson Road, one of these other blood sets in the city that would get tied in with Big and his little brother Caden before his tragic passing would be a notorious gang called DFW, which simply stands for Down for Whatever. Originally a gang of sex, money, murder, and 9 Trey Bloods, they also originally had a few GF or mob members, as well as a few slimes under the sex, money, murder branch that went by Slime Business DFW. However, that was before the city split up and began beefing due to Marlo. Now DFW has garnered a feared and violent reputation alone in the Atlanta streets all before the young niggas took over, being featured in the news multiple times for their outlawed activity, such as the earliest mention of the gang on the Fox 5 news channel, where DFW was willing to murder their own brother after he wanted to leave the gang and do better with his life.
Well, Deidre, Tyson Brantley says he has a new perspective in life since the birth of his daughter, but getting out of gang life has been no easy task.
You want out of the gang.
And they fought back. 22-year-old Tyson Brantley is upfront about getting out of gang life, but that has turned out to be easier said than done.
It jumped me. I was walking to the store.
A few days after you were shot.
Yeah, 2 days after.
Brantley says he got robbed at this location not far from his home in northwest Atlanta in August. A couple of days earlier, he says he was pushed into a car at gunpoint at this Atlanta apartment complex and driven elsewhere.
Get me out of the car, he's pissed with me and moved me away from his car, shoot me in my leg.
Atlanta police say Antiba Daniel, who was with another man, Big Dog, pulled the trigger. APD identified them as members of the gang Sex, Money, Murder, or Mob, who retaliated against Tyson when he said he wanted out.
I just realized that nobody was really loyal to me like they said they were.
And not too long after, they would be featured in the news once again as they were this time labeled Atlanta's most dangerous gang, who went on a rampage of car break-ins, drug dealing, robberies, and even murder.
Has your car window been busted by a thief looking for a weapon or for your phone? In my exclusive report, the Atlanta chief names the #1 gang her investigators say are responsible for the mayhem. It goes by the initials DFW.
Now you see, DFW originally formed in Zone 3's Pittsburgh neighborhood by a family of Bloods, the co-founders being 2 brothers named the McDaniel brothers, who would go on to make that name gain a feared reputation in Atlanta's streets. Their main hood notably being off unironically, McDaniel Street, which would become one of the deadliest streets in the Pittsburgh area as we come to find out later on. Many of the 4-3 members eventually going on to lose friends to gun violence here as well. But with DFW gaining notoriety for driving 20 minutes into the luxurious upscale district Buckhead north of the city, often named the Beverly Hills of the East, where they would go on sprees of robberies, burglary, and car break-ins, we would come to find out that DFW had also set up shop on Simpson Road as well, clicking up with the notorious SIMPSET crew of blazers who initially ran the hood. This would be how Lil Big and his younger brother Caden or Baby K would get tied in with the DFW crew early on in the Wicked West, eventually leading to the gang joining forces with Big's Forever Alliance. As we can see plenty of throwbacks of notable DFW members with Baby K as toddlers. And this would be even more evident as we come to find out that Big has lost a brother from the DFW gang who he proudly reps. 18-year-old Detrick Griffin, who was fatally shot by Atlanta PD in Pittsburgh after allegedly being spotted attempting to break into a car. However, amongst the McDaniel brothers getting incarcerated, along with the top members and OGs of DFW indicted on RICO charges, the young niggas from and affiliated with this set would go on to form their own clique under DFW called TG5, better known as Traffic Gang 5. Which would originally form and consist of the DFW young niggas who knew Caden close and personally liked the TG5 Hellraiser himself, L5, eventually becoming perhaps arguably one of the most prominent figures in the Atlanta drill scene that we'll get into later. See, L5, or Lil Lon, was from the Bankhead or Simpson Road side of DFW, but would know Baby K since they were little, as seen in plenty of throwbacks, including pictures of him repping Baby K after his tragic passing. It would be no wonder why he would eventually get signed by Caden's older brother and be pushed to become one of the biggest rappers on the Wicked West.
Today we got a very special guest.
L5.
Yeah. For the people that don't know, where you from?
Bankhead, Atlanta.
Bankhead, Atlanta, West Side.
And it is common within DFW and TG5 members to go by DFW 5L, or mentioning the 5L moniker in general, which is just an Atlanta gang term saying for 5 Life or Blood Life, not to be confused with the other notorious blood gang henchman gang 5L on the east side of the city beefing with rappers like Playboy Carti, in which you can tell the difference between the gangs with the way they throw up the 5L. And as the OGs of the DFW gang got struck with a RICO, the younger generation would take their place and form new crews and cliques under the DFW gang, which they decided to rep under this DFW 5L alliance between these bloods in Zone 3's Pittsburgh, all the way to Bankhead's Zone 1. And under this 5 Life alliance on the Wicked West, it included the crews of DFW, TG5, Extortion Crew, or SIMPSET, and another notable clique called Dead End, who I'll get into in just a bit. And you'd also hear a lot of TG5 and K4K members screaming YNS, standing for Young Nigga Shit, which is just a small crew that was created by Caden featuring his closest friends. Needless to say, within this new TG5 clique from DFW that would eventually go on to be some of the pioneers for Big's 4-3 crew, the members that would consist of L5's side would be YNS Corey, Baby Tay, Turk, Diamond, Lil Deco, who was just recently shot by a 4-3 member amongst the fallout, G-Baby or G5, Lil Waddy, who has a notorious reputation for going out bad and getting bullied by his own crew that made him want to diss his own homeboy and get jumped for it.
One no pockets. One no pocket. What's in your pocket, little bro? Get everything got in your pocket on Baby K. Don't shoot it, twin. Nigga, start this. Let's do it, we gone. Start this and we gone on Baby K. Let's do it, start this. Just beat his ass, start this. And why I whip it?
And of course L5. And now that you know the DFW and TG5 side of 4-3, we should talk about perhaps the most hated young nigga clique in the city that was a part of 4-3 that I mentioned in my previous video, YC, also known as Young Crew. As I initially stated, YC was formed of renegade young niggas and affiliates from Lil Marlo's PFK or 3L gang that became the most hated in the city because of Marlo's actions leading to their beef with the 4L alliance. And due to inherited beefs and affiliations, the young generation grew up in a war zone with something constantly to prove to anyone. But even before any of that, however, the beginnings of YC could be traced all the way back in 2017 to a single event involving one of the crew's founders and top rappers, Lil Drabo, who, as of today in 2026, you'd see the recent news of him being involved and locked up for robbing and shooting Lil Deco amongst the 4-3 fallout. Being revealed he has deep ties to Rod Wave's mafia crew in Florida. But before that, and even before Marlo's murder, Lil Drabo and his nephew Lil Kente would take probably the most devastating loss to them both: the senseless murder of Lil Drabo's older brother, 27-year-old DeAndre Phillips, better known as Big Drabo. You see, Big Drabo was a beloved gangster around the Wicked West, notably hailing from perhaps one of the most dangerous and one of the oldest last standing projects in Zone 1, the 2,500 Etheridge Courts apartments that would become a haven of multiple crews, even being shouted out by Saw Baby in his hit track, Pull Up With a Stick. 2,500 or Etheridge being territory to many infamous sets affiliated with 4-3, including Bloods, GF, and even Crips altogether, as in today's Atlanta, the hood being like a monument of the old Atlanta. One of these crews that would hail from 2,500 would be a set of rolling 60s Crips known as 27 Unos, which would be the gang that Big Drabo would come from. Interestingly enough, casuals coming to find out that some crews from Etheridge would be bitter enemies to Lil Baby's very own 4PF crew. However, I'll also get into that later. Anyways, being not much is known about Big Drabo personally, but being beloved around the city's west, it would completely break the hearts of many when on January 26th of 2017, he would tragically be killed by Atlanta police in a parking lot of a police annex on Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway.
The Atlanta detectives say they were at the police annex parking lot about to go inside. They're in a red unmarked vehicle. They walked over to a vehicle DeAndre Phillips was in because they say they smelled marijuana. About 30 seconds will elapse. The next action, according to police, shows one of the detectives involved in what appears to be pushing and shoving. At one point, one of the detectives is inside, at least partially. The car starts up and drives off. Investigator Yassim Abdullahad fires a shot. An attorney for the Phillips family says the police account of what happened that night is full of lies.
After Bo's family fought hard for answers, District Attorney Fonnie Willis would disingenuously close the shooting case after Officer Yassin Abdullahad murdered him in cold blood. This would be a tragedy that would fundamentally change Bo's younger brother, who would go on to take his brother's name and go hard in every aspect. And not only did this affect Lil Drabo, but his nephew Lil Kente as well, who can be seen in throwbacks paying homage to his uncle. However, amongst Lil Drabo and Kente being known and beloved as the younger brother and nephew to a 27 Unos OG, they would also get affiliated with the PFK gang and gangsters from the Temp, considering Drabo's hood. The AP is just a few blocks away from the Temp, and over in the Temp, PFK would already be clicked up with the likes of SIMPSET and 952. However, the youngest generation to come out the Temp at that time were focused on making their own name. We begin seeing preteens and badass little kids as they seem, like Lil Mon.
Man,
Yeah, man, why the hell you so short, man?
I get my whole thing, so it don't matter.
Oh, my bad. Ain't you PFK?
Big PFK.
And the perhaps probably the most infamous YC member there would come to be Lil Purk, who could be seen in throwback videos riding a golf cart through his hood, the Temp, which his generation would call the Flip. And the young niggas from the Temp that was tied in with L5 and Drabo would go on to click up with Lil Drabo and his early YC crew he was establishing with his homeboys in the Overlook Ridge apartments, better known as the AP in which they call it, because of its old name Alla Point. And the members who would officially make up the early YC or young crew side of 4-3 would be the likes of Lil Drabo, Lil Purk, Lil Ray, Lil Rez, Mon, Lil Kente, Lou Loaded, and 12-year-old Baby Hot, Lil Purk's best friend, who would come to have one of the most heart-wrenching stories in this beef. And there's also to mention the Dead End Clique, as I mentioned before, or 1031, which formed as a hood of PFK members and affiliates in the Country Oaks apartments, also known as 1031 Block. Dead End eventually also splitting and beefing with PFK, and not really being involved in the beef, but would have multiple deceased members that 4-3 reps to the fullest, like Rue 5 and Tay 5, who both died in car accidents, but are often dissed. RaqBaby mentioning Rue in his song Snakes in the Grass, that he'll spin if somebody drops a diss on him. And within these crews clicked together and looked upon as family. When most of them received the news that their little brother Caden or Baby K was sadly murdered, these crews would take this time not to pity, but to go harder in everything in the name of Caden and all the beloved affiliates close to them they sadly lost, hoping to keep their names alive forever. And now that we know who the 4-3 crew is, how about we take a look at their bitter ops and their rise in Atlanta's scene that would make them some of the most influential but hated young niggas in the city. Now, in the beginning of 2024, a music video featuring one of Atlanta's top upcoming rappers at that time would drop and go mega viral. In this video, you could see multiple goons storming the streets of YSL and Young Thug's Cleveland Avenue or Bleveland hood claiming it, while jumping around erratically to a nigga using a Joker voice to scream out the most viscous lyrics possible over distorted 808s. This song would be OD Crashin', released by rapper Baby Kia, who would be revealed to have deep YSL or slime ties, while going on to diss multiple other rappers affiliated with the 4-3 crew. The world started to notice outside of Atlanta that there was a secret violent drill scene rising in Atlanta's underworld, between some of the rising young niggas in the city. As we would find out shortly after 4-3 began rising in Atlanta's music scene in 2022, their main ops or rivals would be affiliated with Baby Kia and his crew locked in with Bleveland AV's Slimes, also going on to also be clicked up with Sex Money Murda Bloods from Zone 3's Summerhill or The Hill. Interestingly enough, being the same hood of YFN Lucci's 92 Inglewood family Bloods, younger generation 127 Mafia, who sadly murdered Baby K, with Caden's older brother and the mastermind behind the 4-3 crew, Lil Big, eventually catching up with a YFN member at a club laying the beats on him.
My motherfucking Giron, nigga, and all my money still in my pocket. You pussy peon ass nigga. Y'all partner just watch me come in the club, whoop his ass, and I got 30,000 on me, and he ain't do shit. He ain't take shit, do nothing. Fuck y'all bitches, bro. Y'all niggas stop playing with me. No, go to no club while I'm out here clubbing, bro. I'm telling you, ain't no more fun. I will kill one of y'all bitch ass nigga, bro. Stop playing with me, bro. Double back, you a hoe. Delete your gangster car, you a bitch. I'ma fuck your mama, broke ass nigga. Y'all bitch ass niggas stop playing with a nigga. I'm finna go get your shit bust down with some real diamond. This shit is fucking piss pole. This gumball machine ass chain. Don't ever play with me. Don't ever speak on Kaden and play that weak ass, man, your weak ass music in the club while I'm in there. Bitch ass nigga, I just threw $1,000 on your puss ass and I took your shit. Fuck YFN, puss ass nigga.
Thankfully, Big just running hands instead of crashing out on the same crew responsible for his little brother's passing. However, from this tragedy, Baby K's killer, Kentavious Jeffries, or Lil Jeff, would eventually get rolled down the road as pictures from behind the wall would leak online, showing Jeff's face bruised and bloodied in retaliation for Caden's death. However, Baby Kia's homeboy and best friend Lil Tim would also hail from Summerhill, and even though it is unknown if Tim had any affiliations with the 127 crew prior, Tim, however, would come from a family of Sex Money Murda Bloods in Summerhill and the surrounding areas, and would begin to form a relationship with renegade henchman gang 5L members that I'll get into a bit. But within this early alliance of Tim and BK's affiliates, this crew would come to be known as Fast Money Homicide, or simply FMH. And if you ask anyone who's affiliated with Fast Money or used to be, they'll probably tell you themselves that the clique was created by Lil Tim himself.
So what is One Life Fast Money? Talk about the brand, stamp the brand, let the people know and the world know what it means and what's the world gonna expect out.
Yeah, it's us. It's the family. Shit, we the one who really popping in the city, as you can see. We the one who really doing this shit. One Life Family, that's family brand. Shit, we trying to make this shit glow, go to the top with this shit.
And not to mention Lil Tim flat out admitting he made the gang in an unreleased snippet. However, Tim's history of his affiliations with the Slimes on Cleveland Avenue, where he would eventually meet Baby Kia and put the Fast Money crew on, would originate, however, with Tim's close friendship with Day One Willie first, as they knew each other since elementary.
You know, we got Baby Kia, another person that you associated with. How did y'all meet?
Shit, one day, shit. Oh, it was just he had just got on the chase. The police had just let him out. So shit, he walking downtown. He pull up. I'm like, say your name, Lil Tim. I'm like, yeah. He like, Twin, you be with them, bro. And shit, we just started walking since that day. Like, since that down, we got on the train, went to his house. Boom, we leaned over Lil Willie. Boom, this shit was just like this. We locked in.
Now Day One. Willie, or just Willie, is from the Cleveland Avenue area and became affiliated with the YSL crew, or Slime, since a very young age, merely being born into it. And we can find plenty of throwback videos of Willie as young as 12 years old shooting music videos on Bleevland while rapping about being a water boy.
Selling water bottles in the cold. A nigga don't know.
A hustle that has become synonymous with young niggas hustling in the city.
You may know about the water boys in Atlanta.
Big bro, you can't blame me one time.
But as time began to evolve and the new generation rises in place of their predecessors, the younger generation to Young Thugs, YSL, would eventually begin going by Y5, or Young Slimes, with the 5 replacing the S in Slime to rep their blood gang affiliation, or the 5-point star. And a lot of the young niggas from Bleevland would go on to join this new Y5 clique under YSL, some already being a part of it by default. And because Tim and some members of his family were notable Sex Money Murda Bloods, excluding the viral clip of Tim getting slapped by his mother as a kid for claiming Gunna's Shady Park Crip set.
You ain't motherfucking Robin Hood, bitch, I'm you the motherfucking pan.
It wouldn't be surprising that the Slimes, already repping Sex Money Murda, would click up with Tim. Interestingly, upon the senseless murder of Baby K and the K4K movement stemming because of it, It would probably come to a shock to discover that not only was Tim already beefing with the 4-3 alliance, well, L5 as far as concerned, as seen in throwback trillers of a young Tim dissing L5 for claiming Crip and then switching to Blood, kinda like he did.
Look on you a dollar, bro, you scroll, you was just claiming Crip. Now your ass to Blood, get hit with slow, we trying to get him killed.
Not to mention shocking throwback pictures of what appears to be Baby K as a toddler, throwing up FMK or Fast Money Killer, hinting at a darker possibility that this beef stemmed from when they were this young. It appears that the Y5 crew was already beefing with 4-3 as well. Because it is to mention that a lot of the members from each sides of these crews grew up and knew each other since they were little, and one of the many instances of eerie foreshadowing of their beef would come from a throwback video that was released of incarcerated TG5, or Traffic Gang 5 member 05, sounding like he's 5 years old, upping Blick on day one Willie, while taunting him about going to war.
Niggas ass scared, they got a blick on them. You ain't trying to go have war? Bro, no, bro. What you talking about? Get that clothes? Trip? Don't get that clothes? You tripping, Louis?
Nonetheless, the main beef between Y5 and TG5 would, however, occur just 2 months before Baby K's death, when another beloved member affiliated with the 4-3, notably DFW side, would tragically lose their life to gun violence. That victim being 15-year-old DFW affiliate Diamond Johnson, a beloved basketball freshman at Maynard Holbrook Jackson High School, and also a beloved friend to many young DFW and TG5 members like L5. The two of them can be seen in old videos in school playing with each other. And while Diamond wasn't a gangbanger and refuses to follow in the steps of her friends, we might come to find out that it was her very own ties to the DFW gang that might have gotten her cold-heartedly murdered. Because on May 1st of 2021, just a little before 10 p.m., several fights would break out between a group of teenagers in a case too eerily similar to Caden's on the 790 block of Glenwood Avenue. When the teens got near a Waffle House, that's when shots would suddenly ring out, striking 3 teens, including Diamond, who was found dead at the scene with gunshot wounds.
So we're seeing flowers, teddy bears, some signs out here, all a part of a makeshift memorial for 15-year-old Diamond Johnson. That's the young woman who was shot and killed on Saturday night outside of this Waffle House on Glenwood Avenue. Now, APD believe the shooting stemmed from multiple fights between kids earlier in the day that police had been breaking up repeatedly for hours. Officers say some adults eventually joined in, and that's when the gunfire started. Johnson was shot and killed as she and some other teens were walking near Maynard Jackson High and the Waffle House on Glenwood Avenue. 2 other teens were also hurt. At last check, though, they were in stable condition.
Following the shooting, the APD would launch a Be on the Lookout alert from surveillance of the incident, showing 4 cars involved. And shortly after, police would arrest 2 suspects, including 31-year-old Elizabeth Parham, which we may come to find out the incident may have stemmed from a fight between DFW affiliates and Y5 affiliates, as rumors began to circulate. But whatever the case was, it was from this exact situation that some Y5 members would begin dissing Diamond to get at DFW, and affiliates from DFW weren't having any of it, eventually forming a small clique within those who knew Diamond in the 4-3 alliance known as S4D, or Slide for Diamond. With Y5 and TG5 beef picking up eventually a few years later on down the line again, in an infamous incident in the Atlanta drill scene, where former TG5 member YNS Corey was allegedly shot 5 times by Y5 rapper Rude Wick, and surprisingly, Young Thug's oldest son, Baby Jeff, with Rude later confirming this self-snitching on his song, Op Block.
Hey, little bit shout out to Lamar, up the Glock and watch it crank. We hit Lil Corey so many times, his ass ain't died, we hitting blanks.
However, Lil Kente from the YC crew would later go on to drop a song where he calls it Cap.
The shirt, niggas bout must be on purpose, rule claiming shit, that's not his word. Quick man, the whole block scatter, I know they weren't ready for that. Who the fuck Lil Rule, Lil Corey got clout, I won't let us get credit for that.
But amongst the beginning of Y5's beef with 4-3, Y5 would have mutual rivals with Lil Tim and his Fast Money crew he was establishing, and that would have probably made them considerably closer. And within this Y5 clique, the notable slime members that would click up with Fast Money would be the likes of Day One Willie, Baby Kia, Lil Taz, who appeared in a video to be getting rolled by 4-3's RaqBaby, Big Flash, who was murdered in 2024, and then you have E-Break, Baby Kia's right-hand man before he met Tim, as can be seen in throwbacks before the fame with their time on Cleveland.
I got one partner, Lil Snit, yeah, and I gave him the name E-Brake because how he pulled the car, like how he pulled the emergency brake up. He might be doing like 80, come down a little back street. He'll pull the emergency brake on the turn it bit. It might fall around spin. He might get it bit right.
However, on Tim's side of the Fast Money gang, making up his closest friends and family, would nonetheless spill from gang politics revolving the new Atlanta around Marlo's death, as their beef started from mostly school and personal problems. And upon Tim and L5's petty back and forths over the internet, some disses from Tim and his Fast Money crew going directly at DFW and TG5's fallen Diamond Johnson would cause the TG5 crew to want blood. And sadly, these two would see each other very soon, with their online arguing turning deadly. As 8 months after Baby K's passing, 10 months after Diamond's, apparently on the night of March 5th of 2022, just a little before 9:30 p.m., where two groups of teenagers split off from a fair near Pryor and Bass Street southwest of the city. And amongst those two groups, it is alleged that one of those groups consisted of DFW and TG5 members, with rumors stating that the likes of L5, G-Baby or G5, and Turk, a civilian but affiliate of DFW, would all be involved in this incident, as well as Quez, supposedly L5's homeboy, who would soon be revealed as one of the adults charged. And amongst the other group is rumored to be Mr. Fast Money himself, Lil Tim, where apparently a fight broke out between L5's group and Tim's, which would eventually lead to gunfire erupting, striking 3 teens in total, including Turk, who would sadly pass away at the scene.
Here's what we can tell you. That first shooting that happened March 5th near that intersection of Pryor Bass Street, 16-year-old Joshua Adetunji was killed during a triple shooting there near the Atlanta Fair that weekend. Police say an argument escalated and led to that shooting, and today police announced a 19-year-old and 2 other teens were arrested, charged with felony murder. Police say they combed through hours of surveillance footage and talked with several witnesses there on scene. Investigators tell me they've worked closely with Joshua's family, and they do not expect any more arrests in this case.
Now, the names or identities of the 2 teenagers arrested wouldn't be released publicly due to them being juveniles. But if the rumors in the streets are anything to go by, this incident would be what would not only get Tim arrested, but L5 too, as he was locked shortly after the shooting. Allegedly, L5 and Tim both exchanging gunfire, which would ultimately end up taking the life of Turk, who was caught between crossfire. And if their own music is to go by, apparently this situation is what would have L5 eventually diss Tim on his song, Shades On, where he calls out Tim for copping pleas while being locked up with him. And while the adult shooter was revealed to be 19-year-old Marquez Harris, as I stated initially, the time span and age descriptions matches up with that of L5 and Tim, when they would get out merely an entire year later before the beef had reached arguably its turning point. But either way, Turk's death would be the 3rd major loss the 4-3 crew had taken at this point, with 2 of them involving 4-3's main enemies. And the original Fast Money members before they clicked up with Cleveland Avenue's Y5 would be the likes of Lil Tim, Bebop, B5 or Blake, Z-Ball, and Ola Cam, who I'll get into in a minute. And with the 4-3 crew later going on to put all this pain from their losses into their music, little did they know that they would shortly become some of the biggest names in the Atlanta scene with their beef against Fast Money, not expecting that both crews would eventually also get into perhaps the most notorious shooting that ever happened in the city. It has finally come 2022. And both of these crews' most notable members are incarcerated, with Lil Tim from the Fast Money gang getting locked up with L5 from DFW and TG5 over a tragic shootout between both crews at a fair that would result in the death of L5's homeboy Turk. However, I can only imagine how Baby K's older brother and pioneer of the 4-3 crew, Lil Big, would feel, being looked upon as an older brother figure to many of the young niggas around the area, and the guilt he might have felt while watching his little bros repeatedly go through the same pain he did with his little brother. And so Big had a plan, hoping to keep them on the right path with music and keep them out of trouble, hoping to turn some of the realest teenager gangsters into the rawest the industry's ever seen. And after the tragic year of 2021, where they all would unfortunately lose 3 friends to gun violence eerily all the same way, Big sought of 2022 to be their year for everything to turn around for them.
So at what point did you decide to turn it all around? Get out the hood, get out the streets and know all the bullshit and start making music?
When I met them, well, I've been making music. When I met these boys, like, they really showed me that I was hard. Like, I knew I was hard, but they were like, bro, they made me believe in myself type shit, you feel me? Cause at first I was just rapping and rap. You know me, I'm on my drill shit. I always been on some drill shit, you feel me? I just used to be drilling rapping. Now this shit really paying off for real.
And as the beginning of 2022 would come around, the 4-3 crew would do exactly that, dropping bangers, anthems that would make their names not buzz only on their side, but the entire city. And soon enough, after rappers like Lil Loaded, who would be repping the YC side of 4-3 at this time, would go on to collaborate with Anti on the 952 side, where they would drop their song Wicked West, the song being a massive hit in the city of Atlanta. Hopping on the new wave, the Atlanta drill sound that was becoming popularized by rappers like Baby Drill, this time putting a West Side swag on the music, mixing in samples with raw lyrics expressing the struggles and violence in the areas they grew up in on the West. And amongst the traction the 4-of-a alliance was now gaining from their music, no one would capitalize off this wave and pioneer their rise more other than Anti himself, who was being pushed heavily by Big and the 952 crew as the next big thing out the West, where he first gained a buzz after dropping his song Real Stepper, which he would then follow up the momentum by dropping a song that would change his life forever, Murder Bitch. And it was from this moment on that Anti began breaking into superstardom outside of just the city, going on to go on a legendary 2022 run that would stamp him as the face of the young niggas in Atlanta. However, simultaneously, on the YC side of 4-3, they were also making noise as one of their youngest members started pursuing rap as well. That being 14 years old at the time, Lil Purk, also known as P5, who was also gaining a buzz around the same time as Anti for essentially being a badass little kid from the temp going around screaming over beats, toting pipes larger than him and dissing niggas with grown men in the back endorsing it.
These kids and then these grown-ass niggas in the background is not no better.
Why ain't nobody picking Lil Purk up? Why is Lil Purk not signed to somebody, bro? Come on, man, make this shit make sense to me, bro.
But to natives from Atlanta's Wicked West, this was a normal, everyday sight to them. The 4-3 crew were at their peak, dropping hit after hit for the city, with most of the rappers under the movement going on to make a notoriety in the streets as well. Because coming off the buzz Purk gained with the Pray to God video, he'd shortly after go on to release Name in Blood, which would become his most popular song on YouTube, and then proceed to drop I Be With P5, where seemingly he calls out someone for hiding after they dissed Diamond, then proceeded to throw direct disses at the Fast Money crew, reinstating he's FMK. Tensions were at an all-time high between the 4-3 and Fast Money crew, as their dissing and back and forth had reached its boiling point. And not even a week later, after Purk would drop his diss song to Fast Money on the Thanksgiving weekend of November 26, 2022, the 4-3 and Fast Money crew would run into each other again. This time, however, leading to one of the most heartbreaking gang-related incidents the city's ever seen. Because with Lil Tim incarcerated with L5 during this time, their beef heating up while they were behind bars, one of the prominent and original members of the Fast Money crew would be hanging out at the Atlantic Station Midtown, a luxury residential and shopping plaza many teens frequent to have fun. That member would be 15-year-old Cameron Jackson, better known personally as Ola Cam. Now, Cam was notoriously known around the city as being the younger brother of rapper Ola Runt, one of the main and notable members of Atlanta's most hated gang, Henchman Gang 5L. However, Cam was 5L by default due to his brother, but that didn't mean he was his own man, because he was also renegade, meaning he didn't abide by the OG's politics, which would have him click up with the likes of Y5 and Tim's very own Fast Money.
Bro, he MA5, I'm bro Lil Cam.
So tell the world who is Lil Cam and why it meant so much for you to dedicate your project.
Lil Cam, that my little brother. He the one who, before I was even rapping and everything, that was my right-hand man, my bro. We be on the phone all night, 2, 3 o'clock, I mean, bro. He the one telling me about everything, like we just kicking shit.
What's one thing you want the world to know about your best friend?
Shit, he been popping shit on all y'all fuck nigga. He been doing this shit, man. He the one who been slapping. He the one who really started this shit for real, man. Y'all nigga know this shit.
Before I got locked up, but I just did my year, but I was just outside with his ass every day. Before I got locked up, doing the most hottest shit in the world with his ass. I'm a partner though, yeah, he paid when I was locked up.
How'd you meet him? You just were like, same neighborhood block?
Well, through my partner Lil Blake. My partner Lil Blake, we parked that main event with him. So long ago though, we were like young nigga, like 11. Parked out, but he always was younger than me, so he was like, nah, I was like, yeah.
Now Cam was an innocent boxer to his family, but a 5L and fast money demon to his friends and gang, proudly repping his status as the most hated amongst the young niggas in the city. And from this petty online back and forth beefing, essentially over politics to up their rank for their original crew, it turned to something darker, demonic, obsessive. As during 2022, multiple videos would surface on social media amongst their beef, which shows 4-3 members having repeated run-ins with Cam, thankfully sparing him.
Man, look at that boy, look here, man. Look at that boy, man, come on. Look, Cal running. Look at that boy.
I couldn't wait for you.
And while many videos would surface of the 4-3 crew catching and embarrassing Cam, it is to state that he was also the one doing the catching as well. Because shortly after these videos would release, a disturbing video of what appears to be Cam being recorded and encouraged by little kids to pistol whip 4-3 and current former TG5 member Baby Tay on a busy and bustling street as civilians are seen in the background in complete fear and shock, eerily being the same location Cam would later on lose his life.
What is that with fellas, Cam? What one is that? Don't hit with his ass, twin. Do it to him.
Back in the night when Cam was getting it, you know what I mean? I died a week later.
Now Cam was a wild card at this point and would do whatever it took to take revenge on his rivals, going as far to send death threats to TG5 and 4-3 members over the internet.
I'ma leave you alone cause I'm cutler, bro. Nigga, fuck everything, nigga. I don't give no fuck about none of that. You will die, nigga. Fuck TG5 and fuck everything you is, boy. My mama, nigga, I'm on some 5L and fat money shit. And you, all that playing you doing, bro. Nigga, spend anywhere you...
And sadly, that all would culminate to that night, where apparently the assistant DA outlined how the 4-3 crew had stalked Cam to Atlantic Station after threatening each other over Instagram and other series of violent acts. And amongst that group of 4-3 members that night would be the likes of Lil Purk, Baby Opp, Lil Rodney, who would eventually become one of the most controversial figures in the Atlanta drill scene, having multiple throwback pics with Lil Purk in Etheridge also being shouted out by Purk in his song Pray to God, claiming he and Rodney are never lacking nor hiding. You have Lil Tone, and of course 12-year-old Zion Charles, also known as Baby Hot. Hot being Purk's best friend, as you can see him beside Purk in most of his music videos, living out their dream of being buzzing rappers to make it out the violent trenches on the west they hail from. And while his mother and family would try everything in their power to keep Zion away from trouble, he found love and belonging elsewhere with the crew he's seen as his older brothers. Because just a little before 8 p.m. that night, after Cam and the 4-3 crew had an argument over the internet, they'd all stormed towards Atlantic Station trying to find Cam, with reports that the mob of 4-3 was escorted away from Atlantic Station for disorderly behavior shortly before heading back to the property across the 17th Street Bridge. With one goal in mind, that's when they suddenly spotted Cam riding an electric scooter down the opposite sidewalk. Someone would yell out, "There goes Cam," before all hell would break loose. Cam would be tragically shot, leaving him brain dead, sadly passing away later. He was 15. Baby Hot was caught and died instantly in the crossfire, shot in the head by his own crew. He was 12.
All the bullets were meant for Cameron. Zion took the bullet. He's deceased on the scene. Then we have the other victims that was also shot. Everything was directed to Cameron.
And upon committing the city's most tragic shooting and leaving their little brother, the mob would then turn around and head towards the MARTA Arts Center station to make their escape, where we can clearly see the likes of Rodney, Lil Purk, and Lil Tone, who would also appear in a video on social media to be getting checked by Lil Tim and his Fast Money goons for claiming FMK.
I'm on the K, bro. Oh, you straight. You take this all that. Let them boys see your face. You fam on the K. You got it, bro. All right, say yeah.
Turns out the nigga was actually FMK.
A good look at that video they're talking about. It's captured just minutes before the shots were fired on Saturday night. The group is seen walking along 17th Street. And in the video, police say the boy in the yellow coat on the bottom right is Zion Charles, the 12-year-old who was killed Saturday night. He's part of that group, they say. Now, they also say that they believe the boy in the black and yellow jacket and blue jeans is the main shooter. Police are also looking for the boy in the blue hoodie with white lettering, who they believe also fired shots. Now, they say immediately after the shooting, this group went into a nearby MARTA station. They took the train to different stops. They were seen harassing passengers, flashing gang signs, and showing their weapons.
Now, following the fatal shooting, members from the 4-3 crew would be on the run for around 2 weeks, with arrests picking up after using the surveillance. Members like Rodney would be arrested at a gas station after disputes around a stolen car.
The Clayton County Sheriff's Office says they caught another suspect in the shooting that left 2 children dead on Thanksgiving weekend last year. He's identified as Rodney Russell. The Sheriff's Office says they caught him at a gas station on Flint River Road yesterday after getting an alert about a stolen vehicle.
And while police were working overtime to capture all suspects involved, while they were evading law, the city would be on fire, to say nonetheless. Ola Cam being dissed constantly by not only 4-3 members but 5L's Opps. All the notoriety from this shooting would have Cam's rivals deem him the name Scooter Boy as a clear sign of disrespect and dissing. Baby Hot, however, being mourned by the same crew that he aspired to and took his life. Baby Hot was deemed the new Tuka of Atlanta due to his age and the city's hatred for 4-3.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my lame as hell.
What?
I should have been in the school.
I'm gonna put them these bars.
Oh, y'all doing you guys?
These boys gonna crazy.
I forgot you came to the school. We smacked the shit out your way like 5 times. I'm going.
Oh, you come out yesterday?
Clam, the G-Baby shit. Late night after the show.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going. Yeah, Chonky, you don't give a fuck like that.
I know.
Fuck you in your game.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck you in your game. Fuck you in your game.
You not FMK. Bro, get back, man. What the fuck about you?
What the hell? Yo, why not FMK? What the hell? Why not game?
Nigga been came before you 20.
Who?
20. You
fucking why you ain't got a gun, pussy.
You a young nigga, twin. You just let a bald head nigga take your gun.
Clicks like Slide for Hot and Baby Hot Gang are created in his memory, and it seems no one was pushing these movements harder than Lil Purk himself on the run, where during the PD's manhunt, Purk would flee to New York, all while mourning his fallen best friend, while also continuing to diss the Fast Money crew, where one of Purk's snippets would leak of him dissing Ola Cam and mentioning the scooter.
Then we bust out through his class. Youngin' ain't even 14, he spit him, make him mad. Took him off his scooter, put his bitch ass in my pad. And I'll be fucking up these beats, I need to chill, I can't relax.
And as Purk would later go on to get arrested for the murder as well, with Purk, L5, and Tim off the streets. The war unfortunately raged on, as we begin seeing videos online of YC and 4-3 members catching Opps for dissing Hot.
Stop! Let's do it, come outside! Come outside! You smoking hot? You smoking hot? You smoking hot? Come outside. You smoking hot? Huh? You smoking hot? You smoking hot? You smoking hot? You up? You up? You smoking hot? You smoking hot?
As well as videos of 4-3's rivals like 4L spinning through YC's hood and also catching other 4-3 affiliates.
Man, why the fuck this shit so dead, bro?
Always dead.
The fuck is a YC, bro? I blow this bitch up right now.
Nigga, always dead, man.
Man, ain't somebody then, bro. Fuck, what the hell I nigga at? What the fuck I nigga at? Shit like that. Fuck I nigga at? I'm through the AP. Fuck you talking about little Drako? I got pissed ass nigga, man. Fuck YC. All that YB shit, what y'all nigga on? Yeah, you know who Bre'Asia said, yeah, what the fuck you want?
Wait, fuck that hot, nigga, wait! Fuck YC, fuck that hot, wait! Fuck that hot, wait! Fuck that hot! Oh! You know what, Blaze? Big 4L. Who not 4L? Who not 4L? Who not 4L? Nigga, say I ain't 4L. Say I'm not 4L. Fuck that guy. Wait. Stop, bro. You got wait.
Being behind the most notorious shooting to ever happen in the city, all eyes were on Atlanta's young niggas for the wrongest reasons. And as sad as the whole situation is entirely, this incident would also be another major turning point in the Atlanta drill scene, as the year 2023 was creeping around the corner. L5 and Tim would be released after doing a year because of Turk's tragic death, and it is then after the deaths of Olacam and Baby Hot that both crews were quickly starting to become the most infamous crews in the city. Coming off the tragic year of 2021 and 2022 for the 4-3 crew, nearly all eyes were on Atlanta's upcoming music scene for the wrongest reasons, as the Atlantic Station shooting made them considerably the hottest new things to come out the city. And with that, 2023 would be their year. You see, because in the middle of 2023, L5 would be released from juvenile to an environment he excelled in, crashing out. But instead of crashing out in the streets again, he'd begin crashing out in his songs, placed on house arrest for most of his 2023 run.
House arrest helped me.
It helps you? Okay, talk about how it helped you.
When I came home, so many young niggas was out here dying. If I wasn't on house arrest, I know I would have been outside. In them same places where they all them parties did, and I know I would have been right there.
Yeah. Because amongst being shouted out by his 4-3 crew to be freed countless times, that vow would become a reality, as when L5 was released, he'd go on to release his first mixtape, Nomo Free L5, that became a cultural hit for the city. Going on to release songs like What's Up, Forever, and of course songs like Switch Street featuring Lil Baby that I'll get into in a minute. Taking essentially the sound that was created by Anti and Baby Drill, pioneered by Purk, and amping their sound with steroids. And over at the YC side of 4-3, going as hard as they ever did in music after gaining notoriety from murdering their op and Little Bro accidentally, you had figures like Drabo, Lil Ray, Lil Mon, and Kente all going harder in music, arguably reaching their peak. And with all this newly gained attention, the streets were looking for get back for Cam. And if those who loved Cam couldn't get to 4-3 in the streets, then they would do whatever it takes, even if it meant catching them behind the walls. Because on May 17 of 2023, notable and feared ex-henchman gang 5L member, now miraculously a 4L member, Drako, would dig a hole in a shower wall made of concrete and metal to get into the neighboring cell, which is where authorities say he stabbed Lil Rodney multiple times, who sustained superficial stab wounds to his upper body before being taken to the jail's medical unit.
Pieces of the decrepit Fulton County Jail now being fashioned into shanks and other weapons. The sheriff's office says an inmate dug that hole through a shower wall to get into the cell block next door and stab another inmate with those shanks. That inmate suffered some small stab wounds and is recovering. The offending inmate will now face new criminal charges. The jail commander used this incident to double down on the jail's crumbling infrastructure
in an attempt to directly get back on one of the main suspects involved in their little bro's murder. However, Lou Rodney, seemingly living his best life down the road, would respond to the allegations, calling it cap.
Man, y'all niggas better hope y'all never get booked. I got 4 more years left, nigga. I'm finna see what y'all niggas come out when I say. Nigga, on Pete, that nigga ain't come through no wall and do shit. That shit cap. All that shit is cap, gang. Your ass a bitch, gang. Stop. Bro, hey, look, Zay. On Pete, stop texting me, twin. For real, gang. Cause you gonna blow me. Stop texting me, twin. You wanna argue through a phone. I can't do nothing to your bitch ass through this phone, twin. Stop telling me. When I catch you, gang, I'm gonna catch you, twin. But I just hope you're alive, twin, by the time I get out, twin. I pray to God. Every night I'ma pray that your bitch ass still alive. I'm telling you, I'm gonna show your ass, gang. All that fake shit, all that.
And on the other side of the YC crew in 4-3, alongside Lil Drabo, Lil Ray was making waves, eventually being deemed Atlanta's smoothest criminal, and would drop a song that would begin the downfall of things within the 4-3 crew, and also be perhaps the biggest song Ray's dropped, Fuck Everybody, where Ray disses all his ops, being basically the entire city, then proceeding to diss the biggest YC rapper at that time, Lou Loaded, who was gaining heat for being friendly and fucking with the ops like 4L amidst the peak of the beef. especially after a video would release of Young Brew 4L members catching Lil loaded and saying "fuck YC" to his face without him doing anything.
UIC ain't it? I'm saying we're going UIC ain't it? Fuck YC nigga, what's on? We out here. What's on? Fuck YC nigga, what you trying to do? Come out here. That boy scared. Big boy shit, man. Get in there, man. Fuck around there, man. On peace.
Ray's song "Fuck Everybody" becoming so big in Atlanta that it would then also become a cultural music piece for the city.
Walk around shit. 4E me, don't 4L me. I'm from the west, not from the east. Ain't no key talking about forever. Big YC, I'm not 4-3.
So much so, it brung citywide attention to the Lil loaded situation, where those like Young Thug's own son and daughter called him out for switching gangs.
Hop out the car, get it swinging that Drake. I got face and damn, I got tape.
So press on that glass so I won't leave a trace. Keep this gang and shine in your face.
I smoke dead ox all day to the face. I'm smoking on high, got shot in the face.
And loaded you keep switching gangs, you a lame. And Billy your son D out, he ain't changed. And Billy a rat, he keep leaving state. And gonna get whacked if he don't leave LA. Nothing get smart right here to the face. The gang, I'm never gonna change.
And amongst Lil Ray's peak in the music scene, where he dissed the whole city, things would suddenly take a dark turn for his career, as his dissing would make him nothing more than a bigger target. Because on May 28th of 2023, 11 days after the attempted get-back for Cam in Rice Street, a graduation party would be thrown in the parking lot of Benjamin E. Mays High School. Amongst the crew there was Lil Ray and other 4-3 affiliates, where apparently a little before 2:30 a.m. during the graduation, gunfire would suddenly erupt. 2 16-year-olds shot during this altercation. A male whose identity wasn't confirmed, and 16-year-old beloved resident from the temp Bre'Asia Powell, who was caught in the crossfire, later being transported to a nearby hospital where she would sadly lose her life.
We're understanding now that there was an exchange of gunfire.
Davita Huntley is the spokesperson for the family of Bre'Asia Powell, the 16-year-old student shot and killed over the weekend outside of Benjamin E. Mays High School.
There have also been new revelations that there were other exchanges of fire that took place at the location as well, because there were over 130 suspected rounds fired.
According to officials, Powell was among several teens attending a party bus event, which made several stops before going to Mays High School for what police are calling an unauthorized gathering. APD says around 2:30 a.m., officers responding to calls of shots fired and found Powell and a 16-year-old boy shot. Both were rushed to the hospital, but Powell did not survive.
I ain't wanting to beat her out of everybody. She was friendly and cool like that. She was cool and stuff like that. I always be around her and she always make people happy.
The case later going on to be granted a mistrial at the end of 2025. But amidst the controversy revolving the shooting, rumors began circulating that the shooting started from YC getting spent on. Whether it was the work of the Fast Money crew or unrelated events is unclear. But this situation would be just another tragedy in the city involving the YC crew. And over at the Fast Money side, Mr. Fast Money himself, Lil Tim, was freshly released from juvenile as well around the same time as L5, where Tim would begin dropping music and putting on for his crew in the name of Cam. Going the hardest he's ever gone, where his first release since being free being Drill Time, which is a heavy YC and 4-3 diss track while coming for everyone who dissed Cam, letting the people know that he and his Fast Money crew are coming for the scene, laying out the groundwork for their rise with figures like Baby Kia pushing them into superstardom, as I'll get into in a bit. While over at the 952 side of 4-3, Anti was keeping his pace with his music releases, but he'd also find himself in baby mama problems with one of 4-3's rivals that also seemingly popped from the woodworks, Casket Gang. As I mentioned before, Casket Gang being originally a set of 9 Treys, or Billies, from Lil Big's hood Campbellton Road, being the younger generation from their OG's Peter Roll gang that allegedly fell apart after members began snitching mixed with RICOs. However, we begin seeing Anti get involved in very personal drama, as apparently one of Casket Gang's most notorious members, Lil Throwed 5, who went viral for his charges, would seemingly post himself holding Anti's son amongst back and forth dissing. Anti, obviously not feeling this, and would go on to confront Throwed in his DM.
The fuck you mean what going on, nigga? Don't never touch my baby a day in your life, nigga. Fuck you to my nigga on my mama soul, y'all bitch ass nigga got me fucked up. I'ma show y'all pussy ass nigga on my baby, nigga. Bitch ass.
Man, fuck nigga, shut your bitch ass up. You ain't gonna show nobody shit. Hoe ass nigga.
Nigga, your ass, nigga talking like niggas that hard, bro. You was a bitch, hoe ass, nigga. You was a hoe, nigga. Start acting like you like that. You know you're not like that, man. Pussy ass nigga. Nigga, that's RICO. Fuck, nigga, you tripping.
But I'm not no net popping ass nigga, but just know it's up when you see me on my jet.
However, Casket Gang's beef with the 4-3 crew would, however, amplify once their top member Lil Meat responded to Ray's diss towards him on Fuck Everybody, where Meat claims their beef probably started after Lil Ray tried to get a set-up hoe to backdoor him. Meat, being a Goodfellas or GF mob member within Casket Gang, as we find out, had close ties to the henchman 5L gang, as allegedly Lil Meat is shown in a disturbing video pistol whipping and robbing a civilian after the victim allegedly told.
Say you love Casket Gang. Stay right there. Say you love Casket Gang. Say you love Casket Gang. I love Casket Gang. I love Casket Gang. I love Casket Gang shit. Say on shit. Push it on door, nigga. Push it on door, nigga.
Nonetheless, Casket Gang's rivalry with the 952 crew would get consequential. However, this time for RaqBaby, when he would run into Lil Throwed 5 in jail after allegedly being involved in backdooring his own homie. Because on May 22nd of 2023, Atlanta police got a call around 11 p.m. about a person shot at 2555 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway in the Center Hill area, where Club Bankhead is located. When police arrived, 2 people were shot, including a victim who was rushed to the hospital, and the other victim being 18-year-old Dominic McKibbins, better known as WildChild, who was sadly be pronounced dead at the scene.
Just in tonight, there is new video from the night of a deadly shootout in Atlanta's Center Hill neighborhood. So take a look. This is the same video police used to demonstrate violence as part of their Summer Gang initiative we just told you about at the top of the hour. So now officers say they need your help identifying anyone in this video. It's from the night of May 22nd on Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway outside of Club Bankhead and Fox Phase 2. 18-year-old Dominic McKibbins was shot and killed on that scene. Police say 7 suspects are facing murder and aggravated assault charges. So far, we can confirm 3 of the 7 have been identified and taken into custody. There's now a $2,000 reward for information leading to the other suspects' arrest.
Apparently, this situation allegedly happened after WildChild, an affiliate of 952, would shoot 952 Lil Quinn, who gained a buzz in the city alongside Anti after dropping his song Doing That Dissing. Apparently, on that night, the 952 crew would catch WildChild and retaliate for that shooting, with rumors stating that RaqBaby went in WildChild's pockets after he was tragically shot, eventually going on to be arrested for the shooting, but with a minor tampering with evidence charge. This is when Raq would get locked up and run into Casket Gang, already having a feared reputation behind the walls for putting their rivals' heads in toilets. RaqBaby, however, unfortunately getting done the same way.
Oh, never mind. It's right on the video. It's right on the video. I ain't even just have to go do too much. It's already on there. They got that boy legs dangling in the air. That boy shit finna come down. Y'all boys see that boy leg come down? This shit get real. This shit get real. This shit get real. God, Lil Rat doubt me up, so it ain't no smoke with Lil Rat. Lil Rat got his head put in the toilet. It ain't no beef with him, so it's no reason for me to beef with him. He should want to do something to me. We put his head in the toilet. You smell me? So it ain't no beef with Lil Bro. But yeah, as I was saying, ain't no nigga did shit. Lil Birdie ran when I seen his ass. Hopped out the car with his stick. On God.
It is also to mention that Lil Meat and Casket Gang were clicked up with a notorious clique of Bloods and mob members just like Casket Gang, known as 4-Way or 8L, meaning 8 letters standing for Bankhead, the hood 4-Way is originally from, who would form after the death of their homeboy Rel. 4-Way would quickly gain notoriety and become rivals to the 4-3 crew after their top rapper Teflon Zay began dissing L5's closest friends like Baby Hot, Diamond, and Turk, and would also appear in a video that went viral of what seemingly appears to be a 4-Way member shooting an op for claiming 4-Way K.
Oh shit! He got blit, ain't doing shit! He got blit. Oh, he just shot that boy ass. Oh shit, watch out, chill out, watch out. Where your ass? You shot you gang going on? Bro, white chat gang, what the hell you doing, twin?
Four Ways Teflon Zay and L5 going on to have a massive diss war over music amongst both of their peaks. And meanwhile, while the 4-3 crew were flourishing in 2023 controversially or not, their main rivals Fast Money would also eventually reach their status as well. Because towards the end of the year, Tim had convinced his homeboy Baby Kia to begin rapping, not knowing that this would change their lives forever. Because amongst the popularity, crash out music and Atlanta drill was gaining worldwide due to the 4-3 crew, where niggas like L5 were screaming on songs. BK and Tim would take the opportunity this new wave brung to the city, putting new young niggas on, essentially parodying the sound their Opps created. Over-exaggerating all the bits, taking advantage of the new reputation these Atlanta young niggas had, and essentially created characters within the ATL drill scene. BK began releasing iconic trillers of his snippets, with this new erratic character making him blow up over the internet. Such as one of the iconic trillers he did dissing L5 for dissing Ola Cam, and keep mentioning the scooter he was riding on.
If I keep high behind computers, pop up in his sleep and keep on talking about that scooter, mama.
From the buzz BK had garnered from these disses, he'd go on to capitalize it after releasing songs like BK Back, then Let's Play a Game, where he raps over distorted 808s about torturing and decapitating niggas. Then off that momentum heading into 2024 would go on to release OD Crashin', that would skyrocket his career into superstardom. Casuals not realizing that the OD Crashin' track being a direct diss track to the 4-3 crew, as he goes on to diss Anti before mentioning he's smoking baby hot. The track officially deeming BK the face of crash out music. BK and Anti going on to also have a diss war over songs from that track, as BK, Tim, and the Fast Money crew were quickly climbing ladders beyond the ones 4-3 pioneered. And amongst Fast Money's rise, this too would also make BK nothing more than a target. Because we begin hearing news that BK was allegedly shot by one of the city's most feared amongst the young niggas. A demon from Carver Homes whose gang's story is connected to some of the most tragic teen deaths in the city, that demon being Lil Duke.
You see, the villages at Carver, formerly known as Carver Homes, arguably one of Atlanta's most notorious projects in Zone 3, would be redeveloped in hopes of attracting mixed-income families and getting rid of the crime, violence, and drug wars that had once plagued the community. And for a decade, it would actually work, within its initial purpose at least. See, when Carver Homes was officially demolished in the early 2000s, it would take nearly an entire decade for the villages at Carver to complete its first set of new housings available to residents, with the full completion being final around the early 2020s. Sadly, the new residents of this renovated area who believed the new Carver Homes would be a great place to raise their families would soon begin seeing similar, if not sadder, headlines of the same violence as the community's predecessor. Because amongst the many efforts in changing Atlanta from the gritty notoriety it's gained, the city would never suspect the city to eventually evolve into full-fledged gangland, with multiple gang wars spilling out across the streets after the murder of infamous rapper Lil Marlo. As I mentioned in my previous video, Lil Marlo, or Rude, was the next big rapper coming out of QC, being Lil Baby's best friend. But he was also one of the top members of what would become the most hated clique at the time, PFK or 3L. The city would never be the same again. The city's gang politics would inevitably change. Drill music was at its peak, with no older figures to genuinely lead the younger generation onto a different path they've chosen. ATL would have a young nigga epidemic, violence in Atlanta spiking, with officials claiming the beginning of the 2020s became some of the most deadly years and decades for the city. Atlanta wasn't a city about getting money anymore, or being player. It was about crashing out. Who was the most throwed? Who has the most rank? And in the city's new violent politics regarding tragedies, deaths, and gangs that youths fully don't understand, the new Atlanta was born. And it is within these very circumstances that a young Duke would have to spend his childhood growing up in.
Well, how would you say it was coming up in Atlanta for you?
You know, that shit, it was fun. That shit was like crazy. Seen a lot of crazy shit growing up out here.
So you from like the inner city, outside?
Yeah, I'm from Zone 3. Like Pittsburgh, Carver home, shit like that.
Okay, sure.
Now, not a lot is known about Lil Duke's early life, unless you know the nigga personally, but it is said that he was a normal kid with occasional troubles, but didn't really begin getting active until the age of 16, which would roughly be around the year 2023 and 2024. At the peak of the city's drill scene between the young generation, not to mention a tragedy that probably affected a young Duke early. The senseless 2022 murder of a beloved Villages at Carver resident, 15-year-old Terrence Denson, better known to friends and family as Rocc. Now, Rocc wasn't a gangbanger or even a troubled kid. He had his occasional problems expected of a youth growing up in these areas, but being related to and growing up in a family full of rolling 60s Crips, Rocc would become like a brother to many around the Zone 3 area as he was all about his money. Being a beloved resident in the city's Zone 3, it would absolutely break the hearts of the community when on June 21st of 2022, Rocc would be chilling in the driver's seat of a car at an apartment complex on the 1900 block of Gardenwood Courts. Apparently, Rocc was also with his ex-girlfriend at the time when he would get into an argument with someone at the complex, who would proceed to draw their weapon and shoot Rocc multiple times. The suspect would be identified days later, who would turn out to be a 19-year-old member of the Lincoln Blood Gang, Ahmad Royal, who also goes by Mod. Now, Rocc's tragic death would be one of many instances that would have probably mentally affected Duke and made him desensitized to the senseless violence occurring around his environment. Having to grow up in this new Atlanta, Duke probably felt like he had no other choice but to jump off the porch to not only make ends meet, but to be accepted in these crime-ridden and gang-infested environments. And it is shortly after this time that Duke would begin getting active in the streets, going on a spree of striking, robberies, and shootings that would garner him a feared reputation in all under a year, granting him Atlanta's Rookie of the Year, becoming perhaps one of the realest 4L rappers in the city. So without further ado, let's go over the many instances that would make Lil Duke arguably Atlanta's most feared. On June 19th of 2022, just 5 months before Baby Hot and Ola Cam was tragically killed, Atlanta police responded to reports of a person shot at the Villages at Carver complex on Maury Avenue around 12:25 p.m. When police arrived, they found 2 teenagers suffering from gunshot wounds. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. Police have identified them as 18-year-old Neerick Olds and 17-year-old Jamarcase McCrary, better known to friends and family as Fatt and Rexkless, who we would come to find out both repped a one-gang set of the 4L Alliance, made notorious by rappers like 21 Savage, Young Nudie, and Baby Drill. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video, the 4L Alliance is a gang of bloods that originally formed on and ran the east side, with many subsets and cliques formed under them. However, we would learn that the villagers at Carver, infamously known as Carver Homes, would become a blood-dominated hood, with 4L making these new Carver Homes their territory. This new generation 4L clique formed would go by Cleanup Crew. And if you asked anyone close to Fatt and Rexkless, they'd probably tell you themselves that they both were big cleanup.
Cleanup Crew, that's the clique, that's rap shit, that's just the bro.
Hell no, it's your family.
Family, okay, yeah. So that shit.
Like, so we get like the shit we started with our bro, like, and then just like, this shit, they ain't here no more. So this shit, they living through us.
They ain't here no more. You had some people in the crew who passed away?
Yeah. I lost 2 of my brothers on one day. And then I lost another brother a couple days after that.
As you can also see in throwback videos, Duke chilling with Rexkless, dissing arguably Atlanta's most hated young nigga that got shot by YC's Lil Drabo, Lil Deco, even though they used to be clicked together under 4-3 before the fallout.
I'm in that ball. Inside the club, I used to be that dog. Hey, we call you about it, I see no I had it.
Now the killer behind Fatt and Rexkless would turn out to be 18-year Darshay Barnes Jr. After cameras caught his ass in 4K running away from the crime scene, police soon issuing a warrant for his arrest. Now the deaths of Fatt and Rexkless would be a tragedy that would not only affect Duke mentally, but it is from this very incident where we begin seeing deadly headlines in this new Carver homes. The villages at Carver unfortunately regressing to the same violence as once before. But instead of being territory fought over for drugs and turf, it would become a haven of gang banging and death. Because it is unclear what really caused this next situation to, but a year later after their senseless deaths on June 19th of 2023. A vigil would be thrown in remembrance of Fatt and Rexkless by their community, before things would suddenly escalate to deadly gunfire. As officers responded to the 200 block of Maury Avenue after reports of a shooting around 6:30 p.m., residents of the villages of Carver would come to complete shock to find out 2 other teens was shot again during a vigil of 2 previous teens killed, with one of the teens shot in the 2023 incident unfortunately passing away, who would turn out to be 18-year-old Quentin Burgess, also known as Red. Now the shooters would quickly be identified again, as they would also be caught in 4K, with a PD and investigators going on to release it to help with their arrests, and soon apprehending the shooting suspects whose names weren't released to the public. However, the streets knew. As soon we begin seeing a prominent member of the Demon Avenue clique, blazers on the city's south, whose younger generation goes by Smack 5 Gang, M5, or Smack 5 Gang M5, who would eventually grant bail for this situation and gain a similar feared notoriety as Duke in the coming years. You see, Red was a feared shooter of the Goodfellas Mob or GF Mob Gang, who I mentioned in my previous video as being the original Jailborn Street Gang repped by Lil Malo's PFK before they fell out. Red, who would eventually go on to click up with a crew of young niggas from Stone Mountain Central Drive called High Crew on the east side. Now things would rather take a darker turn as you go down the rabbit hole, discovering that Red might have died attempting to slide on anyone affiliated with Duke's crew, because a couple hours before he was tragically killed, Red would post a disturbing image on his story reading simply, "Hell," or jail, a war cry. A vow that would soon be shouted out by other members of his crew before sliding. Like the Time-I crew rapper La Slide would post something disturbingly similar after he posted himself getting spine torn by a 310 gang rapper and adolescent assassin. Doo-wop. Now, as I stated previously, Smack 5 Gang's M5 would go on to beat the body of Red as he would post his paperwork and celebrating shortly after he got out. And what would come next would be shocking, as M5 would go on to pursue music with this new reputation, where he disses and mentions the murder of Red subliminally multiple times, like in his infamous song Do or Die, where he mentions that there's a stain in Carver homes, before going on to allegedly describe how Red got killed, saying he got hit in the shoulder, then cried, or in his track To Glock's One Demon. The title itself directly a diss to Red, who infamously went by To Glock's, which would eerily be what he was sliding with, and ultimately ended up dying with, as seen in a picture captured at the scene that is too graphic to show on YouTube, where M5 declares that he's the real 2 Glocks 1 demon, and that Red was the fake one. Now all of this just shows you the tragedy of what Duke's hood, the villages at Carver, would become, and how him and his gang's actions in the streets would make the area one of the deadliest blocks in the city's Zone 3. From whether it's robbing Lil Deco, Atlanta's most hated, running off on the TG Hellraiser, L5 himself, or even allegedly robbing YouTuber Ungato Matthew, it's no doubt that Duke has garnered a notorious reputation amongst the young niggas in Atlanta.
What's one of the biggest misconceptions you feel like people have about Lil Duke, if they got one? Cause Lil Duke poppin', so like, what's one misconception you think that folk may have about Lil Duke?
I feel like everybody feel like I want to rob them. Real shit.
Like, I feel like you rob them.
Like, I don't want to rob everybody, man.
Duke's troubled history of robbing some of the most poppin' names in the city would only be the groundwork for the amount of trouble he would begin getting into in the coming years. Because on November 2nd of 2024, officers responded to the area of Ted Turner Drive and John Portman Boulevard, where they received reports of several vehicles being broke into. And during the investigation, APD got surveillance video that showed the suspects in a 2016 Chevy Silverado breaking into multiple cars before driving away. Police shared a be on the lookout notice with other officers in the area, and that's when things would go wrong for Duke here. Police were able to quickly locate the vehicle via aviation unit, where they spotted it driving recklessly away from the scene. What comes next would be probably one of Duke's most iconic moments, as he then decides to bail out the vehicle, eventually stumbling upon train tracks.
Let me see your fucking hands! Get on the ground! Get the fuck on the ground! Get the fuck on the ground! Put your fucking hands. I want you to fucking move. I ain't going nowhere. I still got it.
Now you want to get him a custody? Get him a custody right now, we'll find you. Great thing. Now you want to have second job, everybody.
Can you take the video?
Relax, bro, I got you.
I'm gonna need rocks, bro.
I'm about to get you up. Relax. I can't breathe because you're running, man.
Hey, radio, go ahead and start the purple 4. He's going to need some oxygen.
You alright? Relax. You got any weapons on you?
Just give me, is that location where he's detained at?
What, relocate? How did you put the AC on for you, I'll be down? Yeah. But hold on, before you do that, let me double lock the handcuffs because I will close on your wrist, alright?
You can't take them out while I'm here?
Now Duke would soon be released from jail from this incident, ultimately ending up being caught with 7 charges, including 2 felonies. But after the video was released, Duke was at the height of his notoriety, and this would only make him more valid in the eyes of the criminals around him, as he would later go live on Instagram explaining the entire situation to his fans and friends.
Hitting up the state, niggas say what they want to, man. I'm in a dually, I just sit in the car, gang. What the hell? Like 4 guns. Bro just gave up, yeah, hell yeah. I was running for like 4 miles, what the hell? They don't show all that on there. They keep skipping the game. I had hopped on the moving train, all that.
However, Duke's careless acts would fortunately come to a halt, as not even 4 months after his arrest, he would encounter the police again, but this time with serious consequences, as the law were now onto him. Because on February 1st of 2025, the APD would put out a notice where during a traffic stop on Terra Boulevard, Duke would then take the police on an intense high-speed chase, where it was revealed that Duke was responsible for the murder of 27-year-old Zachary Rainwater, who was tragically found dead inside a blue Ford Fiesta in Zone 3's Pittsburgh area after being shot several times. That occurred on September 15 of 2024.
Police say led a dangerous high-speed chase last night. Vincent Steele, currently wanted out of the city of Atlanta for murder. You're taking a look at him on your screen right there. We're told Georgia State Patrol first tried to stop Steele in Atlanta, but he fled to Clayton County. Sheriff LaVon Allen says his team caught up with him on Terra Boulevard, but Steele sped off again, hitting over 100 miles per hour before crashing into another driver in Fayette County. Investigators say he is armed and dangerous. If you see him, do not approach. Call 911 right away.
And with Duke's new reputation of not just being a striker and robber, but even a feared killer, we begin to see more rumors. Allegations with Duke's name popping up in other murders. However, there's no evidence for any of that and are just speculation. Nonetheless, 4 months later, publicly on the run from murder and escaping GSP, which is no easy feat, Duke would go on to release a music video for his song Voodoo, where he goes on to mention that he's done striking or breaking into cars as he's on to scamming, following on to taunt the Atlanta police, actively looking for him, reenacting the chase where he was caught after breaking into cars, and after that, you'd barely see him on any social media platforms, as he was actively avoiding law until this very day. Now all of this would culminate Duke into becoming known as Atlanta's very own TK, an Arlington, Texas-based rapper, who blew up with a similar case to Duke, committing murder while going on the run and leaving videos. Hints for the police, merely taunting them. But fortunately for Duke, he's yet to be caught for his crimes, as Lord only knows the punishment that waits for him if he ever does face justice. So as of 2026, Lil Duke might actually be Atlanta's most feared. Now in the beginning of 2025, the Atlanta PD would issue out arrest warrants for gang members responsible for a shooting that occurred at an apartment complex on July 2nd, 2024 at Spark Street in the Oakland City neighborhood, where around 12:30 a.m. police arrived upon 3 young boys shot. Officers found one 30-year-old boy dead at the scene. The other 13-year-old and an 11-year-old were rushed to the hospital, where the second 13-year-old succumbed to his injuries. Later, both boys that sadly passed being identified as Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman.
13-year-olds died during that shooting, Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman. A 12-year-old, that's Davis's brother, he is actually being treated at the hospital and expected to survive. A family member told us that he was shot in the foot and he's just getting out of surgery. We're told that a family member is there at the hospital waiting for him to wake up so that they can speak with him and support him. We're also told by a family member of one of the boys that this was actually the young victim's birthday. So instead of celebrations, families are going to be making arrangements.
However, things would suddenly take a shocking turn as authorities published an article stating that this shooting was in fact connected to one of the world's most popular rappers, Lil Baby. Hailing from the Oakland City neighborhood where the boys died, police confirming the shooting was in fact retaliation for back and forth violence between Lil Babies for PF or for Pockets Full Crew, and a Goodfellas mob clique from the Etheridge Courts projects. As I mentioned before, being home to many gangs and sets affiliated with the Wicked West's very own 4-3 crew. This GF set would be known as OMF, or Only My Family, and would turn out that the beef officially began after crews from Etheridge, like the MCF or Money Comes First crew, broke into popular Chicago rapper Lil Durk's home in a viral invasion where his girlfriend India shot back.
Alright, then what happened?
Woke got to sleep. She got up.
Okay.
My security always leaves a gun like around the house.
Okay.
So I hit a break in. She grabbed a gun.
Okay.
We creeped by the stairs.
Okay.
That's when we see like 2-3 people like lifting their head up.
Okay.
After the shooting happened, they ran.
Okay.
So when I ran up, I told her to go in the closet. And she dropped the gun. I grabbed the gun, laid on the back porch.
Okay.
And that's how I said to time the gate.
Okay. Now, did they shoot at you or did you shoot at them? You shot at them? Did they?
They shot too.
Did they shoot first at you? That's what I'm asking. So they shot first. Okay.
For PF, or for Pockets Full being the crew, Lil Baby would establish at the start of his career, being a branch of the original notorious crew, Bank, First Pay Later, or 6FPL, that was formed of rolling 60s Crips in Oakland City. Once Baby blew up, becoming a rap superstar, he'd eventually get clicked up with Lil Durk and become rap industry giants. However, amongst OTF's move to Atlanta, they'd quickly get into trouble in this city, as well as on March 2021. OTF affiliate Buna would be arrested at Atlanta's Cumberland Mall after being responsible for shooting 3 MCF members, with a 6-year-old child also being struck in this incident.
Left here around 9 o'clock tonight. As you mentioned, it all unfolded right in front of the Buffalo Wild Wings, where detectives had the parking lot blocked off for hours. A child shot in the leg here. We're going to give you a look at that video showing a young boy sitting on the curb, bleeding with a look of fear on his face. Someone next to him applying pressure to his leg. He's one of 2 victims. The other person shot in the foot. Cobb County police say at least 2 people, possibly more, were shooting at each other. In the aftermath, that child and another person injured. Then 2 suspect cars took off. The motive is unclear, but a restaurant employee told us there appeared to be a verbal dispute among a few men in the parking lot.
As rumors begin stating that one of the alleged burglars that invaded Durk's home because of the mall shooting being Beloved Etheridge, an MCF member Marcus Holland, better known as Big Mark, who was then tragically murdered, suspiciously just a month after Durk's home was invaded. Atlanta PD stating that Baby's very own for PF crew was responsible behind this hit. It is then on June 29th of 2024 where an OMF member known as Trevante Turner would also tragically be murdered by the 4 PF crew, which would all culminate to 3 days later where Trevante's cousin McKnight reportedly coordinated revenge against 4 PF members through a series of phone calls and social media messages. Several OMF members discussing plans to retaliate against the person they believed was responsible, which was someone by the name of John Smith or Jay Shot, who's from Oakland City and had close ties to Lil Baby, which would all culminate to the unfortunate incident revolving the 3 boys shot, with one of the viral moments from this beef happening when Lil Baby decided to shoot a music video on Dixie Street, a hood OMF is known to frequent, where suddenly gunfire would erupt that left 3 men injured.
Pull up, baby. Lil Baby just pulled up on us. You know, we doing it big around this mug. So y'all better try to get in where you fit in. Where at Slapping Taco? Baby, the actress is in the bio.
Who in this car right here? Who in this car?
Bro, y'all straight. Y'all straight.
I'm right here, bro. I'm standing right there.
All that shit.
That's just mixed up, man.
Anybody see Sam? What's that? Sam, you there?
Kevin got hit, man. What?
And amongst for PF coming from the humble origins under Baby's guidance, he would find himself and his crew tangled upon the radar of the feds, where all this petty violence would result in discussions of a for PF RICO. But amongst the many attempts of trying to cool his young niggas down, he would shut down his for PF label due to legal accountability concerns, where he would then start a new one, CBFW, to steer away from the deadly and violent gang that for PF initially started to become.
Pockets full had to come to an end, you know what I'm saying?
When you say of course, I mean, why you say of course?
Because all the shit that be going on and shit. And I had to start learning that, like, other people's actions I could be held accountable for.
Right.
I ain't know all that at first, you know what I'm saying? I never would've went that route, but I ain't know, you know what I'm saying? Now that I know, I'd be a fool to just keep the same thing going. You know what I'm saying? They trying to make something out of something that it ain't. Right. Like, if I got any kind of control of, hey, we gonna switch that whole thing up. And it ain't even just about the police. It's just period. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never was supposed to make my label something that I talk about. Because who I am, and even like now, the young guys, when I meet them and new artists who gonna start their own label, I'm telling them, hey, start your label with something that don't got nothing to do with nothing or nobody.
From whether it's the tragic teen gang war that sparked off due to politics from Lil Marlo's murder, or even Lil Baby getting caught up in consequences that began with animosity from that incident. Not even 10 years ago, Atlanta's culture was all about hustling, getting money, and being player, but would eventually turn into a culture about crashing out over unfortunate circumstances. However, currently in the year of 2026, things have thankfully chilled out with murder rates and violence dropping in the city, due to arrests of prominent members of these gangs, such as Auntie and L5, who violated probation and ended up right behind bars, and with 2 of the members that were glued to the 4-3 crew off the streets. It wouldn't take a while before the 4-3 crew would eventually have a massive fallout, such as the likes of Lil Dicko getting scammed by Lil Ray that started beef between Baby K's YNS crew and YC, which would eventually lead to Dicko getting caught by YC members Lil Drabo and Lil Mon in Miami attempting to rob him, but ultimately ended up shooting him, as well as Dicko starting beefing with his former best friend L5 after Dicko allegedly wasn't sending L5 pape in jail. Baby K's older brother Lil Big eventually posting a video during the peak of this tension where he calls out YC and all the young niggas he put on, who then decided to begin beefing with them.
For real, gang, y'all nigga gonna make me start speaking on everything, gang. None of y'all nigga ain't did shit, gangster to nobody. All y'all nigga bitches, y'all YC niggas, all the rest of y'all nigga ain't did shit to nobody, gang. Y'all nigga don't do the shit but rap. Four-way nigga, all y'all nigga bitches. Everybody bitches. None of y'all young niggas who rapping ain't standing on shit. Everybody straight bitches. None of y'all nigga ain't been shot or shot nobody, gang. But a little girl, y'all niggas is straight hoes. All y'all nigga, no nigga can't fuck with my young nigga. Straight up, grown men get this shit, everybody get this shit. Nigga know what sound. And my young nigga get money. Stop fucking hang dick riding this shit. Pussy ass nigga.
L5 later going on to release the snippet of a collab song with his former main op baby, Kier, squashing the beef and being the beginning of considerably the right path for the city's young niggas. And besides the graphic murder of YC Lil Kente's best friend Lil Biggs, allegedly by a Casket gang member, and the senseless murder of Y5 member and Fast Money affiliate 30 Boy, if the city could learn from not only L5 and Baby Kier, but also Lil Baby, then maybe the Black Mecca can finally be as great as it was once before. Now if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like or consider subscribing for more similar content. As you know, I am a one-man team and a lot of time and effort goes into these videos. So if you want, please make sure to subscribe to my Patreon if you want early access and other videos. Another huge thanks to the Atlantology subreddit and Atlanta Drill Discord, as they are major contributors to this video. Let me know what other videos ideas you want down below. Thanks for watching.